All right, so man, we back. Decoding two sides of the system. It's been a minute. You know, I want everybody that's here to introduce themselves, and we're gonna have a roundtable talk just about a lot of different things today. Trauma, relationships, trauma within yourself. We're gonna talk about accountability and a whole bunch of other things. Man, it's gonna be lit. So we'll start from the left, Julian.
You already said my name, but Julian here, content creator, photography, videography, music producer, all the way around. But yeah.
Okay, period. I'm Jasmine. I'm a model, actor, content creator. All of the above, you know?
Yeah. King Trey, you already know, add the king to it, but I'm here.
Jayla Musa, hip hop artist, visionary.
Keisha, I'm a makeup artist and artist of sorts.
Basically, what I wanted to start off first to talk to everybody about was just trauma. So just addressing trauma just within your life first. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has went through something, and it makes them the person that they are today. But I think like how we face our traumas and just the lessons that we learn through the hard times is what make us, you know, us today. So. Like, just for me, my first trauma getting over was like losing my father. When I lost my father at a young age, I never knew. Like, you don't really, you know, like you don't really get into it. Like, oh snap, like my pop's not here. But I think like as I started to play sports and I seen the different parents and I seen like the different people, it was just like, wow, like I don't have that. And it really locked me in, like as a kid, to be like, dang, like my dad watching over me, but like I really gotta like just kind of like running from that. Like when people would ask me about it, like, hey, do you have a problem? Like, you know, like not like losing your dad, or how do you feel about that? I would just run from it. Like, I don't really want to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And I ran from it so long to where like it became normal, and I never addressed it, and it didn't let me grow in some areas. So.
Okay, yeah, I think we've all faced some sort of like trauma in some shape or form. But from your story, I could think back, I probably have faced the trauma since the beginning of my life. Like all throughout my whole life, there's always been some form of trauma, whether it was like, you know, I grew up in a not your usual household, I guess. I was raised by my grandparents, but also like, I remember being a little girl and seeing like my sisters going to jail. My mom, like she was in and out of jail when I was younger. So I think even like small events like that are like traumatizing to kids. Like, you know, you see like your parent and then you might not see them for like 6 months to a year. Like that's traumatizing. So I can agree with what you said.
For sure. And then another part of what you said, just being a kid going through things, especially with family, it can get really, really hectic when you have friends that aren't going through the same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you see examples of what your childhood could look like.
Yeah.
Like, dang, like you said, my pops was here, it could look like that.
Right.
Or in your case, if I was raised by my parents, it could look like that. This is what it looks like to have a healthy relationship with your sister. So I feel like comparison always makes your trauma seem like
So much bigger.
than like.
Yeah, I feel that. I think like what Jazz said was really caught me. Like, and I think about like in today's time, like I was traumatized not seeing love in my household because my mom was single. That might not be a traumatic moment to people that you think, but you don't see an example of how it is. So you don't know what the ingredients is to do the right thing. You just know what you're being told.
You're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and see, and that's what I think. Like a lot of men and just a lot of people in the world, like, are just households that we come through. Like, we don't really get to see that, especially in our culture. It's not publicized. Like our love is more toxic. You know what I'm saying? And not really the ingredients of what you want to see whenever you're raised in a certain household with certain people. So,
Yeah, I think that's more common than not. Like, I don't remember ever being taught how to be in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? Or besides, like, having relationships with the people that you're closest to, or even outside of your household. I don't remember my parents or my grandparents ever saying to me, this is what you do, or this is how you behave. Like, I don't ever remember seeing that either. So the whole idea of, like, not being taught love in that way.
For sure.
Yeah, like you don't see it. I mean, I didn't grow up saying that.
For me, like, when I think of trauma, I think of it like in a micro way. It's like micro traumas that like it's like they're very subtle that you like learn. Like I find myself like remembering things that I see as trauma today, and it's like I'm trying to like newly grieve it or something like that. Like, oh, that was a traumatic experience, but as a kid, sometimes you just taught to just like go with the flow. So when you become an adult, it's like you go back and be like, that was traumatic. And then as an adult, you spend time trying to heal the little you.
Yeah.
It's like,
Because it affects so much of your adulthood.
Yes.
And like when you're an adult, you're like, oh my God, I got all these issues. I got all these problems. Where does this come from? For me, my childhood, like my traumatic upbringing.
Right. And sometimes you will off into adulthood before you start to
Yeah, before you even
be like,
get
oh shit, there's that one.
My perspective as a newly therapy person, like I just got into therapy. Like,
Hey, get therapy, man. Therapy works.
Hey, I appreciate them all.
Hey,
If you hear my friends in therapy, it's
that's
crazy.
what I'm talking about, bro.
But that is crazy because there are so many moments when I'm just like dumping or just talking to my therapist, and I'm like remembering shit that I went through, or just like feelings that I had. I'm like, whoa, wait, where did that come from? And then it starts to make sense because some of your trauma have direct correlation to how you act, whether it be with your friends or relationships or towards yourself. So it's just like hearing your stuff back from someone else is really, really weird, and it's really, really mind-blowing.
Right.
Because there are moments when my therapist will be like, so what you mean is...
I love it. Especially
so what you were trying to say is...
Yeah.
And I'm just like...
You got it back.
Yes? Question mark? Because you're helping me articulate and find words for what I didn't have words for back then.
Right.
So it's easier to identify what you see even more real.
Yes.
For sure. I think with trauma too is like, I always say like sometimes it's like searching through your own pain. And what I mean is you can be at a place to where you're being successful in something, and it's a subtle thing that makes you want to go back and say, why do I act like this? Or why do I react like this when someone do something? Or why am I getting treated like this or anything? And then you go back to like you dig back into your pain, you know what I'm saying, your trauma, and it kind of brings you up and down within relationships, because like I noticed the people that are aware, because like accepting your trauma is a whole other thing. It's not easy, and it's not even easy to talk about. So like, granted, thank y'all for coming on and speaking on it, but more of like just for a personal thing. Like when you talk to people that know that they have trauma and that they're working through, you can have more articulate conversations, and they can understand you from a different standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like they can see you through your vulnerability. And I think like when you're around those people, it's important to have those conversations, because you're not gonna get them whenever you're not around them. You know?
What a way to jump into it.
For sure, man. For sure. Hey, right to it. Now, I do want to know, like, from the standpoint of y'all, like, when were y'all or someone talk about, like, when did they learn, like, oh, I had this trauma and I need to, like, face it. Like, I need to face this and overcome this because it's starting to impact me in my life. Like, anybody want to share that? Like, a story or just a situation where you was like, oh, no, dang, like, I need to work on this. Or it could be, you know, Julie going to therapy, or, you know what I'm saying, something that.
I think I have something. So I noticed when I was younger, I was like afraid to speak. Like I was afraid to, and also like in Black households, like, you know, it's almost like you can't talk about how you feel.
Yeah.
You can't talk about how your parents or whoever's raising you like did something that made you feel like that's just not a thing. So I feel like I couldn't be vocal, and I feel like a lot of times I held a lot of stuff in. And now, like as an adult, it's like I find myself doing that, and it's like it's not healthy, because it's not healthy like in relationships, friendships, or anything, even work, because it's like you need to speak. Like nobody's gonna understand you unless you say it. Like nobody knows what you're thinking or feeling. So also it let me know like it's okay to. I'm a very emotional person, and as a kid, oh my God, you doing all y'all. So sorry.
Always like a moment like this.
So I think
As a kid, kid, I was like super emotional, like always crying or whatever, and I just felt like I had to keep it in because, like I said, I couldn't express myself. But as an adult, it's like too much to keep in. I'm like, I have to let this out. I have to, you know. And then it came to the point in therapy when she was like, so you're only holding this in because as a child you couldn't let it out, but now it's okay. Like, you need to give yourself permission.
Right.
So just by giving myself permission, I feel like I'm becoming like a better person because I'm more vocal about how I feel or about how people make me feel, or situations make me feel.
I think so. I have the same, like a similar thing. I also felt like I couldn't voice how I felt because you're right. In Black households, like to say anything back, it's like, so you get smart.
Right.
Like that's what you're doing. I find that a lot of times the same, that I have a hard time expressing myself, and then when I do express myself, or when I did express myself, I would express it like in a very like verbally abusive way because that was the way that I was used to being like communicated to as a child. But I'm learning like that's not okay. That's not healthy. That's not. It's very toxic. It's very toxic. But going through therapy, through talk therapy and energy therapy, it's been kind of helping to redirect that and to be able to express and communicate in a healthy way, not holding things in, but also finding a way to communicate to whoever it is that you're speaking to in a loving way, or like a more like warm, accepting way, like how it is that you're feeling. I'm learning that. I ain't mastered it. But I'm learning, and I'm a lot better. I'm a lot better, yeah.
That's good. It's just
I mean, a lot of guys have to do with unlearning too.
For sure.
You get at this age, and then you just backtracking, trying to like clean up like your childhood for stuff. So it's like you're just going back behind, and you discover more the more that you like. You're like, damn, well, I was coming to just clean this up, but now there's more here.
It's like a string. Like when you pull it, it's like everything like starts like.
It's like, okay, so I should have worn work boots. Like I picture like myself going back and like on a job or something, and like working on myself.
You need a hazmat suit.
Yeah, like it's gases in this emotional chamber. I wasn't prepared for this, so I think me is just like it's like a blend of like racial trauma. Like there was things to me, like I was told things as a child racially that I didn't know was like insulting and like hateful until I became an adult. Like I didn't even know the terms that I was being called coming up in Louisiana. To where like when you realize the things that was being said to you, it's like, oh, okay, I was just going through the motions, and then when you could actually contextualize your experiences and stuff like that, and then you slowly, day by day, try to like ingest them for what they are, and then you like relive that pain sometimes because you're like grieving for the little you and trying to like pick that person up. You're like grieving the younger you and like apologetically also trying to like uplift them, but sometimes we want to get through it quickly. We want it to be completed and go. And it's like, no, you actually have to sit down, take your jacket off with the younger you, and actually retell your story to yourself to truly clean up like all of the trauma that's on there.
Sometimes just talking about it isn't enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes you have to actively no, this doesn't require just I'm admitting it, but I'm going to admit it and keep on.
Right.
Because it's easy to fall back into the victim kind of like, everything happened to me. You gotta keep telling yourself like, I'm gonna fight for this.
Yeah. You're right about that actually, because that's what I find with talk therapy. Like I think it's commendable for anyone who's going to therapy, just trying to like, because you're on the path. So even the talking part, that's a necessary part of it.
Right.
But then it's like, okay, so now we done talked about it. Now what? Like, how do I move this energy out, like out of me, out of my body? And so, like talking about it sometimes is not just enough. Like, you gotta actually have tools to put in to work and do something different.
Do the work and put in the work within yourself. I most definitely agree.
I think that's interesting what you were saying about the like racial trauma, like especially being from Cameron.
It's terrible.
Cameron, I'd be interested to see like how many other Black people, because it's such a small town and it's predominantly white town. There's not a lot of Black people in the town, so I'd be interested to see how many. I definitely have it.
Well, no, it's just
It's really so many.
It's like so many microaggressions that they become macro.
Right.
There's so many subtle things that tell you that you're less than, that just creep into your subconscious, that passively do it and directly do it. That, like, for example, like me being the only black in class maybe for this year, everything around me said that I'm underrepresented.
Right.
In that. My teacher's white, everybody's white, principal white. Well, as a child that's going to ask questions, how you going to internalize that at 7?
Right.
It says I'm a loner. I'm not being represented. The people that we're learning about are
It's
heroes
white.
that
The
don't look
education
like
is
me.
all white.
So what it does is it unconsciously forms who you are racially, to where you'll be racially inconfident in yourself, as an adult, to where you'll find yourself in spaces where white people are dimming your light, so their light can shine brighter, because everything since you left the womb says that directly or passively, that you should do that. So I was being called like a coon in like the 3rd grade.
Jeez.
And didn't even know what it meant.
Yeah. Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Same thing.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what that meant.
I couldn't even look
So I'm like replying like, oh, then you're a bitch or something like that. Because I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking we just clowning on some shit. They're like, oh, you actually are being hateful.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing this at 24 years old in college. I'm like, oh, this person was actually like bringing an attack to me.
Yeah.
For real. Or just like,
the way they use black athletes.
Yeah.
athlete. I was about to go there. I was an athlete, trying to pursue it in college. Just the way that they treat you when you can bring something to the table that can like uplift their establishment in relation to like, if things get racial, you have to stand up for yourself. They might be like, why are you acting funny? Or why are you like messing up the camaraderie of the team? It's like, you just literally said something that was very hateful, and now that I'm standing up for myself, this is what it is. But when you drop a kid in that for years on years, you become hypersensitive to racial interactions as an adult, to where you'll find yourself like, well, I feel like it's around the white people.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you go back and do the work, you start having answers as you start knocking the dust off, and the emotional, like your emotional room, and it shows you why you might be like in an anxiety state when you're dealing with white people or something like that. For sure. I can speak on this all.
Yeah, no,
Like, me as well. Like, I really can.
The last thing I want to speak on this is, I think coming in the town that we were from, it kind of was crazy to me that our parents was like not allowed it, but they kind of was like, oh no, this is what you gotta go through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember like as a kid being like one of the best players, and they like want me to play up and do all this other stuff, but I was getting treated differently because of my talent. But I was also being racially profiled because of my talent. Like, they'll say things at practice like, oh, he the fastest one, ain't nobody gonna catch him. I'm thinking that's a compliment, but you're honestly throwing shots at me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was crazy going home, or if you get into it with somebody, what was told to you when you sat down. To me, I'm just speaking on my experience, it was, you gotta understand how people are, and you can't react to it a certain way. It wasn't more of like standing up to yourself and just like on a different viewership, you know what I'm saying? Like, some black parents are like, you gotta stand on your character, you gotta stand on your morals. It's kind of like if you're talking to like somebody like within the Black Panthers, what they tell you going to all white school rather than your mother that's not involved in that type, or don't have that type of
like armory.
Right. Like, and even just being in the ceiling, you know, like a lot of our parents are like, they don't think that you can go beyond the city. So they treat you naturally like, oh, you're a good kid here, or they treat your my love for basketball was more than just a hobby, but the people around me treated it as a hobby, not the love that I seen it for. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't have the mental fortitude to understand that, oh no, I can make it, I can go travel the world just playing basketball. They'd never seen that. Like, they never had an example before that. You know what I'm saying? And I think like with parents sometimes, and just speaking on just my situation sometimes with my family, is like they put limitations on your abilities. And I think it starts as a kid, honestly.
Well, I think that just goes back to what they went through. Like, that's right. They were raised and part of stuff. That's all that they knew. They felt like, oh, I can't get out of this city. My kid, like, this is the best my kid can be. Like, this is the best my kid can be.
Yeah, right. And then you break that though. You know what I'm saying? Like how he was talking, like that's when you learn a whole bunch of stuff. Like, wow, I wasn't confident in myself as a kid all the way till, and then you say the point. It's like, dang, what lessons did I miss all the way to this point? You know, so yeah. it's a hard thing.
But a lot of, which could be a whole nother podcast. But the way a lot of times parents will parent us through fear and say that it's love.
That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
fair.
It's I love you so much that I don't want to see you hurt. And I've never been out there, so I don't even know what it looks like.
Right.
So I don't even know how to coach you to that place.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you can't, to keep you in a space where I know what happened.
Right.
As a parent.
Right.
I get that. Yeah.
So it's like, nah. Especially our generation. Especially for us, it's like you can't be so scared that you deny your child.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the bridge that I was taught. Like basically the thing. Like you can't be scared, and because you put limitations on your kid, and if some of the experiences that I know now that kids are experiencing now that they had been going through when I got to college, I'm like, wow. As a kid, if I just had the known, like, oh, I could do this, I feel like I would be farther than what I am. But obviously, your path goes within your rights of where you're gonna be in life, and God has a plan. So let's talk about this generation of relationship goals. So, me personally, how I feel about this generation relationship goals, I feel like it's more for the net. Like I feel like it's more for social media. I think like more people spend time on, like me and Jazz was talking about like editing, and I was thinking about this when I was writing the episode, and I said this in my mind, and it really made sense. It was like more people spend time on editing their picture to go on the page rather than they do in their relationship, which means they want it to look so bright. Where we take this picture, what do we have on, where do we go, what lighting goes into the picture, everything, but they want the presentation to be like, we're locked in, we're solid, goals, you know what I'm saying? And it's, the goals are probably inspired by a celebrity who just got out of a relationship and going to another one, and the way that the generation goes, they pick up on a relationship and then they fall in love with it and then they say, I want this. And they don't put in the work, they want to do the pictures. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you look at some of the rappers getting their women all these gifts and doing these hotel rooms, then you get guys that try to compliment that, but haven't put in the work all year before that day. Right. But that day they want it to look perfect. And I just think like with this generation, like relationships, I think it's more of a, like I said, like social media, like a business. Like it's like, oh, we're gonna be together for this. We're not really, it's not real. Like it's for a certain time. You know what I'm saying?
It's trendy to be in love.
Yeah, it's very trendy. That's black trendy.
To the point where it's almost not okay to be single.
Yeah.
Now, it's like, oh, you ain't got nobody.
Yeah, you ain't posting them. You ain't.
Like you by yourself, you ain't got 4, 5, 6. Like it's not.
For sure. Especially if you ain't got a woman, they want to know who you talking to. How many do you have? If you don't have one, because I know you got. You know what I'm saying?
Like actually, I'm chilling right now.
I'm working on myself.
First off, that's foreign language. When you tell people you working on something, be like, all right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a facade, like we was talking about the other night, like what it looked like. Like if you look at someone's page, you know how K was like, oh yeah, and I was telling you how people like you meet her like, oh no, I know you got type of women, you travel, you do all this, and it's like a persona that goes into it. But not knowing who I am.
That's dangerous. That's very dangerous, y'all. Don't do that. Don't go looking on their private profile and be like, oh, he's just so perfect. Look at, like, y'all don't do that.
Well, hold on. First off, I don't know if this is a shot.
No, it's a shot.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Wait. I believe that you gotta say that a little bit right. Like, don't believe that the Drake post. Yeah, that's a little bit. Oh no!
It came right behind me.
It came right behind. I was just
because I was triggered by what you said. That happened to me of course, another person. But like, yeah, that happened to me. Not that I was like, oh, let me go see his Instagram and see what he's about. But like, it just happens. Like when you get to know a person, like, oh, let me see your socials.
What do you post?
What are you tweeting? Like, what's your mind like?
Twitter. Of course. I just think the persona of the page, you know, like all jokes aside, but like when you look at someone's page and you put like you just pick them for who they are, you're like, oh no, he's like this, without even actually getting a chance to know somebody, which everybody has a wall up and everybody, you know, like it's a certain type, like everybody ain't gonna talk to everybody, and I understand that. I'm just saying the persona of saying someone is this and you don't know them.
Yeah.
It's what, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things. Like I remember interviewing Jazz and just getting DMs of like, oh, who is that? Who is this? Who is this? Like, oh, let me slide in there, put me on. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I'm like, you know, I'm like, hold on, right, let's see this, that. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, it's the person. I'm like, that ain't gonna work, but hey, do whatever you gotta do. I'm not gonna tell you nothing.
Not gonna work.
You know what I'm saying?
Not gonna hurt through me.
Yeah, right. I'm like, yeah. Especially, you know how I do this. Some stupid stuff. You say that, hey, that's on you. You go. That's not the type of, but you know, you can't really explain it to somebody, and it limits them of actually getting to know you when they do that. Like if people put a limitation on me, I'm speaking of women, and they say that, I'm automatically like, yeah, I'm not even, because you're looking at you looking at a page.
My highlight.
Yeah, my highlight reel. Like on a page is gonna be your highlights, like or however you use Instagram. I don't use it for my personal life. It's for my pod, and I understand what I need to do to be successful. But if you looking at that and you thinking me, like that's not really reality. You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely happened to me before, and the girl told me like as it was happening. She was like, "I can't talk to you. You have girls on your page." I was like, "I'm a photographer. This is literally my job to take pictures of who hires me to take pictures."
It's actually your work that you show.
Right.
Like,
She's telling me that you can't talk to me. You can't. You know.
You gotta get out of here.
You have to run. Photographer?
Oh my God.
Like that's crazy.
Run, don't walk.
Like.
I was gonna ask y'all, do y'all feel like y'all still experience that when you see people online or see something online and you think that's all of what it is? Like,
Are you talking about me?
yeah, like do you see
like
people in a relationship and think like, oh, this is that, or see people in their life online and you think that? Because I feel like people definitely do that, but I feel like people are a little bit more savvy in thought now. Like I don't think that people look at social media as much and just.
Depends on the age group.
I disagree. I disagree. I disagree. All age. Well, I mean, you continue, but I totally disagree because if you're looking in the media, it's whenever a relationship first bonds, it's everybody goes to it. You think about Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey, it's like, oh, Lori left Future and got Michael B. and they run it all up, and then she leaves him, and then they, oh, dang. You know what I'm saying? And they create the new narratives, but when they were going together, it's like Lori came up, look at what she got. And it's not just my age group, which is like 26 to down or up or however you want to do it. It's older people too, like talking to certain women or even just being in therapy. Like whenever they say they want a relationship, they point to a celebrity, and I'm like, wow. Well, like it shows the trauma of, like I said, like not seeing love, because if you can't see love close to you and you go search for the net and say that's love, then that's traumatizing because you haven't seen an example of what's healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's how I view it. But
There's still people that do both. I think that it just depends on who it is, who you're talking to. Like I never see a relationship and think that at all.
That's cool.
I don't know neither one of you, and it is nothing but a personal storefront.
Yeah.
I just come to, if I see your post, that's just what I see at the magazine store for the day. That's how I view all of my social
And I
media.
could have liked the post though.
Yeah, it's a store. I think it just depends on the people. It depends on the people.
yeah,
I think it definitely also has to do with like your personal experience as well. Like to someone who's never been in a relationship, you don't know all the BS that comes with being in a relationship. But once you have it, you see, you're like, okay, they're cute, but because I've had a girlfriend, because I've had a boyfriend before, I know that there's probably this going on.
Right.
This going on. I'm also going through this. So I think, also have to be.
let's get into it now. Men being coddled. Don't smirk. Don't look. This is why, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I just you see that, Julie? You see it? Like, did you feel the energy? And like when I said it, like it just got a little quiet.
I actually didn't.
Nah, I'm messing with Kay. Kay didn't do that. I'm just messing with Kay, but it was funny with Jazz. Like, yeah, right. So I really want to get into this, just because I was one raised by a single parent, and being coddled was something that I was as a kid. I never knew nothing about it until I started honestly getting into like psychology, getting into growth and understanding how I handle situations. And once I realized that, it was like, oh, you were coddled. And that was the hardest thing for me to admit, because as a man, you feel like, especially like when you leave and then you chasing your own dream, you know what I'm saying? Like I left at 17, so I'm like, my mind was so advanced more than my age, so I was just like, nah, like I'm getting through a lot of things, but the stuff that I was going through and how I was asking for help and just how I was handling things on the daily, it was terrible. Like honestly, I was really, really bad. And it wasn't a woman that taught me, it was more myself. It was more of me like growing and meeting different people. Like I think in the small town that we had, like it's a certain people that you can be around. Like they work at the plant or they work like it's no like we don't really see like multi-millionaires or a lot of entrepreneurs or things like that. Like once I was in those rooms with multi-millionaire people and going to these different family houses, I realized that I was coddled, because they were doing so much life stuff more than me, and I'm just like, dang. Then I noticed in situations where I'm like, ooh. So yeah, I mean, just really admitting it, because a lot of people don't want to admit it, but I want to know your examples or y'all.
I'm curious as to what you think, like in what ways do you feel like you were coddled? Like you said, there's certain things that you have to teach to yourself, like what things.
Yeah.
To make sure we all have the same
perception.
Same perception. Well, give me an example, and then let me tell you if I've experienced it, because I don't want to say mine and you say, oh well, I think coddled is this. So tell me what coddled, or what do you think a man is coddled? Like I want to know from a woman's standpoint. Anyway, I want the cameras to catch it anyway. So.
Okay. By the way, you can still say how you feel.
Oh no, I'm gonna say how I feel. I just want to know.
I think like just like the assigning of gender roles in the sense of like women are doing like the housework or like the cooking, but men are boys are expected to do those things, like things along those lines. Or, yeah.
Okay. For me, my mom.
Or just being like protected or like nurtured in a way that maybe girls aren't.
Okay. So I think the women perspective of a woman do everything, that I never was with that. Like I never was raised like that. My mom was raised with a single mom, and she did everything. Mm-hmm. So she cooked, she cleaned, she did like anything we needed done, she could do. But she explained to me that it's not a woman's job. Like, and she explained to me the core values of that. I think more of when I messed up, how I was coddled is what got me. Because my mama gonna say, like, or if just like not accepting that I might have handled things the wrong way. Because at the end of the day, like I'm like shit, my mom will side with me anyway. So it forced me not to look at maybe things that I was doing wrong or how I was treating people, because I was coddled in a way to where like I didn't have to accept when I really messed up. Because I had people say that. Yeah, for sure. And I lost my dad, so it's gonna be even more coddled. Like, oh no, baby, you okay? Like she don't want me to experience no pain, or she don't want me to feel bad. She would tell me a lesson, but she's not making me accept the wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I think I was coddled in that way, and I was coddled in a way as far as like handling like responsibilities. Like I didn't know about credit, I didn't know about none of that. So to me, that's coddled, because I'm a grown man. Like I need to know this before I go. Like you got kids now. Me and Jay talk about this all the time, but like more of the other side, like they know credit at 14. You know what I'm saying? Like you have like a lot of people in our culture learning credit at like 30 something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or getting bad credit because people have put stuff in your name as a kid and you don't know how to fight yourself back out the hole. You know what I'm saying? And me not learning those things of writing a check, cash, like knowing how important having a credit score is. Like not, like whatever you move, you can't do that without credit. You know what I'm saying? Like I never knew the importance of that. Like I stumbled into that, like not having it and struggling and being looked at like less as a man with within my peer at the time, or just me within myself. Like, damn, like I'm a grown man. I just found out the importance about credit. Like, what?
I think that's a good common thing, though. I think that means like the intersection of like Black, maybe like low socioeconomic status, and whatever gender. Because I think that's like a big thing in a lot of Black homes is financial literacy. Like we're not taught a lot of times financial literacy, but not so much as like just a coddling thing, because they don't teach it to you because they don't know it. So that's more like to me like an ignorance that happens amongst us too, girls and boys, just across, you know.
But I think like even if like being in a relationships or even just having personal relationships with friends and stuff, like how I handle things, I think that's the growth thing that taught me like, oh damn, like it would be situations to where an argument would pop up or something, and I would say, or we get an argument or whatever, but the way I was handling it was like, damn, like I'm really kind of like, oh, not like you should be doing this, or like why are you even pressing me about this? Like because I've never got pressed about something that I did wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm handling it not in a way of listening and interpreting, but just going on defense, like. But because I shit, so my mom do, oh yeah, baby, you'll be all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So and that was hard for me to, just for me to face. Like, and I'm still like facing some of that in therapy because it's been that way my whole life. So when you actually say you're gonna make a change, it's hard because you have this amount of issues built up. And it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So I dated a guy. Yo, I'm gonna tell y'all the story because everything you just said is I experienced it as being the girlfriend of a guy that was being coddled. And I mean, he came from a 2-parent household, but he was not close to his dad at all. And his mother, like, he didn't pay his bill. I mean, a grown man, like a 23-year-old or something like that, like a grown man living on his own, didn't pay his own bills, no accountability for anything. I mean, nothing was his problem, nothing was his fault. And he would say, like, if my mama don't do this, like, I'm not gonna let you do this. Or like, my mama don't talk to me like that, I'm not gonna let you talk to me like that. But it's like, what's your
We hear it. This is what I want. This is what I want.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing. And it's like, I don't know, like, so, okay, how do you grow from that though? Like, how does a man grow from that? Because
You have to want to.
Yeah, you have to want to.
Right.
It didn't grow. Like, it's just the same, like, you know, thing. And I don't think he understood that he was being coddled. I don't think he understands that he's being coddled, like, as a grown man. Like, and I think, but also it makes me think, like, why would your mother do that?
Because maybe his mom, that's all she had was like her son, you know? Like if the father wasn't, but you're saying the boy didn't have a close relationship with his father.
Yeah.
Maybe the father wasn't emotionally available for the mom. So I've seen where the mom will then gain like a stronger emotional bond with the son, and they, even though that's their son, they're more like a partner.
Yes. Like his mom will call him 10 to 15 times a day.
Yeah.
Like, wait, you're not like
Very
your mom call.
Yeah, and I think a lot of men are coddled, but they don't want to admit it. I think like naturally we are, like our mothers, like whenever you do something or something, you always say like, as long as my mama love me or something. Like that's never gonna be the
To be honest, there's a culture that is exactly that, to where you'll find yourself validating being enabled and being coddled because it's like a normalcy within it. And then when you get older, you have a woman or a man challenging those things. It's an unfamiliar place that you are, to where you get offended very quickly. I think that the raising like that, it stems from slavery, fear-based. They think that it's love. It's like the furthest thing from, because when you thrust somebody out into society trying to live like that, that's not a great tool to even go out to society with even that type of mentality. So you gotta you challenging yourself, and you also gotta have difficult conversations with your mom as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Just depending on the situation, you're gonna make decisions for yourself, but also make decisions as far as what does the complexion of the relationship look like with your parents as well, and taking initiative. And that can be a long process, but if you don't do it, then it can be very difficult to get yourself out of that mentality to where you're even aware of being coddled. Like I definitely came up like a mama's boy. I got both of my parents, but my dad has a job where he left a lot and then came back. So it gives you a lot of time with one parent. So you build different relationships.
Yeah.
You start admiring them differently. It doesn't mean that you love one more than the other. It's just different relationships.
I'm just with you more.
With you more, so you talk to them more, they get to know you more.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So when you find yourself getting older, you'll like wake up 21 and you're like talking to your mom the same way when you was like 15. You can find that happening. Or even when you come home, they like, did you eat? They kind of like over you, where you going or whatever, as if you ain't been out the house for a decade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that the initiative of it comes off like I'm loving by doing it, but if it's not with a certain type of balance, it turns into some type of nasty representation. It can turn into a nasty representation of somebody who's trying to get with a woman, and it look very.
And especially
look
when
crazy.
you have a woman that knows, like, or that been through and actually understands, like, you're being coddled, but they're trying to tell you in a way, like, nah, like, you're being coddled as a man. You can't. A lot of men are like, I'm not trying to have ours World War III. You know what I'm saying? It's World War III, and that's the different thing about psychology. And when I really got into psychology, it's like, dang, like now whenever those situations happen as a man, your emotions rise, but you gotta relax. Cause you gotta listen to the words of what they saying and not how they saying it. Cause girls ain't gonna just say you being coddled. You a coddled, you know what I'm saying? Like they gonna push them buttons, but in reality, all they saying is you're coddled, and this is why you're coddled, and you need to fix this. But men get this ego and this like, how could you talk to me to where they don't even listen to the information? So whenever the conversation is being had, by the time it's over, it's already out their head because they moving out of emotion and they moving out of this like this persona of like, you're not about to talk to me like that. You're not about to tell me that I'm not this, instead of listening and trying to apply, which is hard. I can't say that, you know, everybody's perfect to it, and I wasn't perfect to it at first, but you build to it.
I also want to add, like, well, I feel like because your mom has like an unconditional love for you, right? So your mom she gotta deal with you, right? You came out of her, she don't have to deal with you for the rest of your life. But I feel like by being coddled, you go into the world, and if it's a man, like, you know, in relationships, you expect that woman to put up with everything because that's what your mama is doing.
For sure, yeah.
And
Of course.
disrespect, like you could disrespect your mama and she's still gonna talk to you tomorrow, like.
Of course.
Yeah.
But and that's why I feel like just it makes you, I guess it doesn't allow for you to have like respect for people because I mean your mom is gonna deal with the disrespect.
Right. You can continue to maneuver through the world like that if you choose to.
If you
they will
choose
just
to,
choose
right.
the women that will.
Yes, that will deal with the disrespect, and that's so crazy.
Yes. My brothers, I feel like I have two brothers. Love them, love y'all. But they were definitely coddled, and I know like me and my sisters are like, me and my sisters are like very worried, and so when they have conversations with us, we're like very like, look, this is what you want, this is why it's not working. What you think? Like, what is it? It's like you're being coddled, you're getting able, you don't understand, like, you know, you call us for that.
Yeah, that's why I say that it's attached to a traumatic thing. I think it just stems from slavery due to certain relationships that mothers had with their sons based off of what happened to their father. Like the complexity of the father and that triangle, father, son, and mom, I think is like the foundation to the trauma to why that even like this even takes place.
Yeah.
I think there's a deeper like ingredient to this dish of like trauma when it comes to like men being coddled. Yeah.
Maybe they feel like you have to protect black men more, black boys more, because you know what all they're going to experience out in the world or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not to be too graphic, but the things that they would do to the men in slavery, the mom is thinking like, well, am I raising my son to go get that exact thing done to him? Because they're letting my daughter, it's crazy how dark this should get. Like, you might have a daughter during those times that they be sold off, or it's like passive violence. But with a man, how they done men and boys back then was very traumatic out on the surface. So I think that had a lot to do with like the way that they were treating black boys and black men, to where the mother feels the need to overextend. I think that is just it's like trauma transfers. I think it's just trauma transfer.
Yeah.
But mothers aren't just daughters before, so then in that case, daughters have to learn the role, like 2 roles, because you learn the role of being the nurturer, because somebody has to care for the Black boys, and then at the same time, as a Black woman, you still have to be like strong, resilient, you know, kind of still
Independent.
right. So you have to like kind of split between both those like masculine and like feminine aspects of you.
For sure.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. For sure. This break and then
Just a way bigger topic.
Yeah.
All of these are
It
like,
is. Yeah, no, it
shortening
really is.
things.
Yeah,
All
we
of
shortened it
these
up.
are
Like, I just wanted to
shortening
touch on everything. Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to touch on everything because within the talk and within everybody that's on here, we're so articulate in how we speak to where I could just do a podcast on all these, but I kind of want to just jump in and jump out.
I should have said that. I don't think that it's not love that like the moms are like giving to their sons. I think it is love. It's just like the only way they know how to love. You know.
Yeah. Or maybe.
Yeah, I just think that it is love. I think there's just so much fear mixed into it that sometimes it's just like you can't find yourself. Like you love your son, but this activity that you think is just pure love based, you're actually about to set them up to have a lot of growing pains when they turn 19, leaving for college.
Oh, man.
You know, so yeah, I would agree too. Like maybe it is somewhat there.
Yeah, love is very subjective. No, that is. I think what Jay said, like, really caught me because, like, when parents love you so much, and then it's like they don't know that they're hindering you, and it's a lot because as a man, you gotta be the head of the household, or that's what a lot of men like. You know, like they want to have that role, but then if you meet someone that's at a level of not even saying like they're the head of the household, but they just are more ahead in life than you, and they're trying to show you a way. You can't bow down to your ego to listen, and that be the part. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the little part of just how relationships break and everything. Like a woman telling you consistently what's wrong, but you're not listening because your ego is so big. To how am I not treating you right? I'm doing more than you did I ever did for any other, but you're not understanding.
I'm telling you, you're doing A and B. I'm telling you,
I want C and D.
Yeah, you see what I'm
Like, what you
saying?
doing?
Yeah, right. And then that's the ego thing because you're not listening at that point. You're going off of of what you think is right and how they need to be treated rather than how the person is telling you.
I think like with that, a lot of men are taught how to be leaders, like real leaders.
Yeah,
Real leaders.
You feel me? Because like being a leader doesn't mean that I'm the best one in the room. Being a leader means I'm able to recognize, no, you're better than me at this.
And that's the hardest.
I'm just gonna let you rock out because I know I'm not as good as you in that area.
Of course.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta, like you said, you gotta get over that attitude and just be like, okay.
Yeah.
If it's to my girl, I'm like, okay, you
manage
money better than me. So I'm gonna let you manage the money. Like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I'm the man, I gotta do it because that's putting most of us at a disservice.
Yes.
For sure.
I'm curious about how many women actually learn how to let men lead. I ain't learned that as well. Because a lot of times Black women. I feel like a lot of times Black women we have to play those 2 roles.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like we have to develop that masculine energy as well. Like you said, we have to be able to nurture and protect, and then still be strong and Black and resilient women.
And don't be emotional. Like hold the
Right,
emotions
and
in.
hold the emotion in.
And hold his too.
Right, and so it's just like it's just a lot. But dang, I forgot where I was going with this. Dang.
But were you taught like how to allow men
That's
to
what I was
be a
talking
leader?
about. Yeah, so I grew up in a household with my grandparents. They were very old school, so my grandfather was very much the leader of the household. But also, you see times where he like took a back seat because my grandmother, she was sometimes a lot smarter at things, but that's how you be a leader.
Yeah.
You know,
Dream said you hit that right on the head.
yeah, like that's how you be a leader or whatever. And I feel like growing up, I feel like I kind of like took after my grandmother, and I was like, oh, well, this is how a woman's supposed to be, like, you know, so like let me play the back. But then once I realized like all men don't know how to lead, I gotta lead myself, or we gonna see with you. So I do think it's a challenge. I don't know how to be as feminine as I thought I do because I've had to be a little masculine all this time. So I do agree with you. But I very much want to be very feminine all the time. But it's like, it goes back to the men gotta know how to be like that.
You gotta be able to trust it.
You have to trust it, yes.
And you gotta like earn it. And that leads me great into the next topic. Perfect. And I was writing as I was telling, like, me and Julia was talking about this. We had a whole hour discussion, but it's the terminology of women saying, like, obviously y'all said, like, you know, it's hard for having a man to lead, but this men ain't shit. Dude's not nothing, or just this mentality that I heard as a kid was taught to some of the women that I grew up with, like, or the little girls, like, girl, men ain't nothing, you need to do you, focus on yourself, and you know what I'm saying, just because they might not have experienced love, but in certain households, like how I was raised, being coddled and everything, but it was different because my mom didn't play with me when it came to how to treat somebody. Like, especially women, like, she'll be cooking, this is not just a woman's job, you need to sit in here. I'm like, oh, okay, like, learn how to do this, and she would just be hitting me with stuff like, if she see an example of something, you see how he just did that? You better not ever do that because this is how a woman gonna look at you, and she was like grilling it, like daily though, like, it was never a moment to where I did not learn how to treat a woman, like, and why. Not just telling me, like most people tell you something, or when you're teaching somebody, you tell them, but not a lot of people elaborate why. My mom elaborated to me why in a lot of things. Especially like the money thing and kind of like the stuff that Julia was saying. But as a kid and I'm around men, they telling me the opposite. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta find out that all by yourself because I didn't have my dad to show me. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, like, I learned a lot of things of how to treat a woman from a woman's perspective. I said that a lot on my pod, but I've never learned it from a man. I've never seen the example of what my mom was saying is the right thing. And then we jump into this generation with people, and then you have women of, soon as you talk to them, rather, I know everybody has a guard up, but they have this thing or this persona of like being hurt or something, and they not facing their own thing, to where you could actually be a good friend, you just get knocked out the park. It's kind of like, you know, good guys finish last type thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so shoot.
I don't personally.
No, I think that culture, you got City Girls, Cardi B, even though there's been a thing, Trina, Lil Kim, but I think a lot of things encourage that behavior. Besides could be trauma, could be people that they've dealt with, relationships that they've been in, and they feel like they just can't find a good man. So the next day they come, you probably ain't shit, but this is where I'm at in my life. So let's see what you got, dog.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just depends on the people. I think some of it, you just got to, it's like an isolated situation. I don't think everyone is like that, but I do think that through music and many different things, it'll have you really saying those type of things. And to an extent, we gotta take responsibility for that too.
We do,
but I do think that it's overkill for me. Like, I think that it's like now, sometimes it just get toxic. It's like, niggas just ain't shit.
Yeah, it get tight. And that's what I'm saying, and I can't stand that. Like, I'm passionate about it. I do not like that. Like, that's one of my pet peeves, because I don't care about, if I'm being honest, what somebody else did to you. Like if we're in a relationship, we building something, it's like, yeah, but I'm always coming at you with respect, but it gotta be vice versa. Like, you can't just say I'm not a good person, I'm not a good dude, and then expect me to fight down and knock down your walls consistently, and you treat me like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hold on, nah, like, and that's just a realistic thing of men, especially like in my age group, and just like talking to like guys that's actually good people, and they telling me the struggles that they going through. It's like, bro, you wouldn't even believe this, like, or like, bro, I was trying this, and this, and all she could say is this because this man hurt her. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell her, and the men is like they're trying to drop their guard or trying to be vulnerable, and the woman is saying that she wants this and is in the face, and then she knocking it out. And then it goes cold to where it's like, oh, well, forget her, I'm about to get another girl, and then by that time You know what I'm saying? It's just the time. Yeah, so it's a cycle, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up with my parents in the household. I grew up with my grandparents as well, and then my mom came later, but my dad was never really present in my life. So I particularly believe that the family structure is super, super important. So I don't subscribe to that train of thought.
Right.
But also, I do know there's some niggas ain't shit. Like that's
For
also
sure,
very
yeah,
true.
of
That's
course.
very true, and that's a true thing. And you're right. I think from our just like media culture, like what you're seeing on social media, but also what you're seeing in movies, like just the portrayal of relationships and the fallout of people being hurt. I think that you're seeing that a lot. So that's where that mentality comes from. You know.
Yeah, like can he handle me?
Right.
Like no, I handle it. You handle
Or
children. I'm not
I
handling it.
can handle her.
I'm not.
Or I can handle her.
I'm not. I don't want to
Those
handle
are part
nothing.
of the same
Actually,
mentality.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, both of them actually. I don't think.
That'd be
I don't. If you say I don't want to have to handle nobody. Actually,
Elaborate on that, Jimmy, because we talked about it. It was
I
very-
feel like
Julian.
He taking a deep breath.
I low key want to say this into the camera.
Go ahead.
I feel like
This
at a
is
certain age, and I feel like a certain age, you gotta be able to be like, not all people are like that, and move from that space.
Yeah.
I think trauma gets in the way for sure, past experiences get in the way for sure, but 25, 26, you're really out here like, I'm just gonna fuck everything up until you heard me 6 years ago. You just gotta grow up.
Yeah.
Like that's
That's
like if you don't understand that not all people are the same at a certain age, and you're not like you have to want to be better.
And then let me add to that, at that age, it's almost like you're picking these kinds of people. It's like you have to look into yourself, like, why am I? It's me. Like I'm picking these same types of guys.
They don't want to.
Yeah, but I think like you're right. Like both of y'all were right.
But that's
I
the level
agree.
of maturity.
Right, exactly. So healing comes at different times.
Yes.
You may not get that form of healing until you damn 45. Shit, at least
Sorry to that woman that feels like that, girl.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Yeah.
Moral of the story: everybody needs to go to therapy.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna talk to somebody.
Please go heal from your 8th grade relationship.
Right. Yeah.
Boy.
Because I'm also thinking like, but the reason you keep coming up against that is because you're tuning into that. Like, so also, where you at? You know,
Right.
Julian, like, where you at?
Oh,
That
okay.
you're tuning into this.
I
That's the type of people
personally,
or conversations you keep attracting or girls you keep attracting.
and it's not because it's so like, it has not happened to me a lot. That's only I only let it happen twice.
Oh,
I only let it happen twice.
okay. All right. Quick one.
But in that, I'm kind of low-key going back to men being coddled. I wasn't raised by my mom, but my parents were divorced. So my mom definitely overcompensated based on that.
Okay.
On top of being divorced, I'm an only child.
Mhm.
So grandma's only grandson.
Yeah.
All the grandmas, all the aunties, like all of it. So I was raised. I was
Okay,
raised.
hold on, wait. See, no. See, that is shot. She said, finish your story.
Finish your story.
But in that, it was always easy for me to have like friends with I have a lot of friends that are girls. So, and I see how they act. I'm like, like I saw a post that said like a lot of y'all think that the dudes with a lot of girls want to be in relationships that the girls they're friends with, but it's not the case because they're really.
Y'all look at that like I don't want to be with a girl like that.
Super
A
toxic.
lot of my guy friends say that. Like,
Yeah. So while I might not experience personally the niggas ain't shit or the people that are really unhealed and unable to move forward, I see it play out outside of me.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was an outside in decision. I was like, I personally just don't feel like dealing with that.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind like pursuing. That's cool, but I feel like that is different than actively making someone pay for something someone else did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Those are different things for sure.
Of course,
Sure.
of course. And
All
now,
relationships are attractive.
yeah.
Friendships, girls, anything.
Facts.
Yeah.
So now we're going into that. Let's talk about accountability. I think within knowing that, of knowing that you have to get through that, it takes a lot of accountability, like within yourself, and just whatever you're going through with your life or just your journey. Accountability is in there daily because it's on you.
Yeah.
If you really if you're really trying to build what you're saying you're trying to build or trying to do something you're trying to do, it's on yourself. So accountability has to be something. And I kind of want to speak on it because I know some people, shout out to all my homeboys and stuff, but they don't know nothing. Some of my guys talk all the time, y'all know nothing about accountability. Like, and that's just facts. And we get into these arguments, and it's never saying, dang, like, you might be right. It's more of why I didn't do it rather than saying I didn't do it. And that be the little part, like, of you just saying you didn't do it, and then you can say why, but you can't even say that you didn't do the job.
You know, I think that's something I suffer with sometimes. Now that you put it like that, because sometimes I be like wanting to explain why I didn't do it instead of saying, "Yeah, you're right, I didn't do that."
Yeah, period.
The end.
Period.
I would have been that person and
Yeah.
still stand that person to an extent.
It's that line, and what's crazy is I gotta admit this. Jay is the reason why I really felt like that. Like I've been a person of accountability, but he kept telling me about TikTok. You gotta get on TikTok. You gotta get on TikTok. We talked about this for 3 months. I'm gonna get on it. But I had every excuse for saying why I didn't do it instead of saying, oh no, you just didn't do it. So it gave me like a peace of mind to say, oh well, I'm still working hard. But I wasn't holding myself accountable. And once I really got on it and I seen, I'm like, oh dang. It was that little line, like, oh, see, I did this, but that linked into my whole thing of getting myself right. Like me kept putting that off, me putting the gym off, me putting just things that I really need in line for me to be my best self. And sometimes we don't really realize that when we're going through stuff because we fade accountability. Like if it's accountability to our pockets or to our job or our well-being, we're going to be accountable. We're going to get up early. We're going to do whatever we got to do. But those little things that take you to the next level, what you want to be, is the main things that's going to get you because you're not comfortable in the space that you're at. So you're only holding your accountability to be comfortable in, be successful, and to have to what you want to have for now. But the true accountability of what you going over is okay. If I do the little thing that he's saying, wow, like I can get out of this little box and get to where I truly want to go, which is, having your bigger dreams of like this being a stepping stone to where I want to go, but that next level, you know what I'm saying? And I think we pass that by a lot and we take it for granted, the accountability, because sometimes we put accountability in what we feel is comfortable and not what it is in reality.
Yeah, 100%. I think accountability, especially some that is trying to give change, is the one that people struggle with the most. Like accountability, depending on who you are as a person, it already sometimes can be difficult. Like you just don't feel like it's your ego, so you don't feel like copping to like what you're doing. But I think when it's like something like you're trying to be held accountable, but it's who you've been for a while, those are like the most sensitive times where like the biggest arguments I feel like can even come, or the biggest like internal conflictions within yourself, because it's like a you inside of you that knows it and you still do it. You actually tell yourself in real time and still do it.
Yeah,
The thing that you're about to be held accountable for.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Like for real.
Doing a lot.
You're like, I'm about to do this and I know I should, but this is the way that I'm wired, so it is what it is.
Yeah, right. I deal with
Yeah.
It's like,
It's almost like you know better, you do better. Like you rather not know. So you don't want to be held accountable. Like you don't want to hold yourself accountable. You'd rather not just act like you don't see yourself doing this, so you don't have to change it. You know, it's changing it is the word.
Changing is definitely the word. I want to talk about accountability too, like in relationships, like personal relationships, even in love. Like I experienced myself whenever I started going to therapy. I was very like taking accountability even more to where like some people when they argue in a relationship or even just friends, you have somebody that might hang up and they're like, oh, they don't want to talk about it now. They want to talk about it like a week, like I need some time. And then you have some people that want to talk about it at that moment. Like, let's just figure this shit out and let's get through it. And I think like with accountability in relationships, I learned that you earn more respect for standing in whatever you believe in or just holding yourself accountable. Like if you messed up and then whenever the person comes into it, whether it be a love partner or whether it be just a person in general, when they say, well, this is how you made me feel, even when you didn't, but you listen and interpret it and take it like, oh, okay, I was wrong for that, but this is what I meant. I noticed that when you hold yourself with that accountability, more people respect you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you feel about that, Jad? I see you nodding.
I agree with what you just said. I'm just thinking about like myself. Like sometimes I'm trying to figure out like why do I feel the need to want to explain things but also what you just said. So I think let's just dissect that a little bit more.
Right.
The person that wants to stay and work it out at that moment, and then the person that kind of wants to, like I say, they probably just need to digress. You know, get their mind together or whatever. So I feel like how do you figure out who's right or like how do you take accountability in that? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I read.
There's a compromise. It's about taking both of your ideologies and seeing what's the middle ground to those and attempting to meet there. And when things are not going as planned, it's about coming in a healthy way to address if things are off track instead of like it triggering to you saying something, maybe both sides, to where it like just throws the whole shit away. I think that's the thing is digesting how we feel in the emotion and then going, we do this shit in real time sometimes and don't even have the tools to even be dealing with people in real time. And it starts this big ass argument to where you would have just took 5 minutes to actually, how do you feel about this? How does this make you feel? You start thinking of terminologies and how you speak and everything, and then you go in there with your posture is different, your energy is different, you need to calm down. The person actually visibly sees that you are actually trying physically and spiritually to where even if they don't agree with you, they receive it differently. Yeah. Because they know that you're actually trying, even if you're not doing the best, they can see it all in your aura that you took some time, whether they think you're wrong or not.
For sure. I think if you know that in your relationship, one of you is like one person like
is the opposite.
The opposite of it, then I think that you have to have a conversation before you get into the argument about how you can
how you handle those things.
Yes, and what can you do? Like, we got a safe word. We can just throw out there and be like, okay, let's take a little moment and then go back or something.
And that's the little bit of work, and it's a little, but it means so much more in the relationship. Having those type of conversations, like how are you whenever it's gonna be something hard? Like, are you somebody that run? Are you somebody that like to sit in it? Are you someone that needs time? Are you someone that like to talk to it? You know what I'm saying? Because it's very important. Because sometimes we don't see that within our partner. We get the honeymoon, and then when it's that, you realize like, oh my God, this is not what I signed up for at all. Like. To where it's like, oh no, like we don't really have to resurface this because this is not, I can't do this. Like literally, like I can't have you doing this every time we get into something. And like I said, like I learned that from accountability, but also when I read the book, whenever like I was going through my breakup, whatever, I read the 5 love languages, and that book I was like, dang, I didn't even notice that, like. Whenever it's an argument or something, I started to notice that with my friends. Like, I get into one of my friends, we don't talk for like 2-3 weeks, then we just talk. I'm like, oh, he's the type of person that. So I already know what he's doing in his relationship when he called me and asked about his girl and why did you talk to her? I haven't talked to her in like 2 weeks. Well, don't be mad you know what I'm saying? Like, it's worse. Yeah, it's gonna be worse. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They gonna demon time.
Yeah, right. Like you can do that with me. I'm your homeboy. it differently. But your woman, you know,
It's over.
Yeah,
I'm telling y'all,
2 days is crazy.
you got 3 business days, and then that's it.
it's not business day. It's
3.
schedule.
You can't. Not a week. It cannot be a week.
Business meetings.
So he good on Saturday?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like so Sunday to
So if
deadline.
it
Yeah, I
go
got-
down Friday, you expect Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday some shit better.
Yeah, because the
Return.
weekend. I mean,
like take a little cool off.
yeah, a little off the weekend and 3 business at the most. That's max. Don't let it get to 3 business days because now you trading on. What they say you trading on? Like,
Then I
Yes.
No, it's 3 business days.
3 to 5.
That's all I got.
That's funny.
It's crazy though. Some people will go like weeks without trying to talk or like figure things out. I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
Like, how?
That's definitely not my communication style.
Yeah.
I would not.
I think like everybody's different. Like not a lot. Like some women like that's how they act, or some dudes that's how they like. I know a lot of. Not just saying my friend. I love y'all. I know y'all be watching. Y'all be supporting me. Yeah, I love y'all. I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying like the same thing I tell you on the phone. Call her. It's 2 weeks. What are you talking about? Like, come on. Like, let's be realistic. But you know what I'm saying? I just think like some people, that's how they operate. Even if it's not right, if you're not having a conversation to tell your partner it's not right, then they don't
But
know
see,
they're
that goes
wrong.
back to what we were saying earlier, traumas.
Yeah,
It goes
okay.
back to like traumas, you know. So that's
Now you're right about that. I want to know, like, I was having this conversation with Jazz. I think I had it with Jay. I'm not sure if Jazz had it, but it was like, who do you call when you're wrong? Like when you're wrong. And I love my homeboys. Let me go back to y'all. I love y'all. Because I know I can call some of y'all. And I can be totally % wrong. And y'all like, man, bro, like you gonna make it, like they put it in a way, I'm telling you, that's why I love y'all. Y'all, they put it in a way to where I can't even think that I'm wrong. Like, I overthought this, like I'm tripping, but in reality, I know I'm wrong. But I'm just calling you because I know you're gonna give me what I want to hear.
you
You
like
wanna be
that?
an eight?
Yeah.
No. I'm speaking in an example, man. I'm saying I have friends that I know, like if I call them and it's some real, like they gonna tell, like if I miss something, like, oh nah, bro, like you ain't. But I do have those friends also that keep it real with me. And I'm not no person that like that. I'm just speaking for, because I know people
Would you say
that
that's
call.
why you call?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, I'm
No,
telling
you
you.
just
You said
said
that's why you call.
Oh yeah. Like,
So you hear
yeah.
You didn't like that.
No. I'm speaking. I'm tripping. I said it wrong, but I called them like if I'm not doing some of my like podcast thing that I'm supposed to be doing or something. I'm just trying to make myself feel better. Like, and I'm down. I'll probably call them on that, but like not no serious. Like I don't even call them when it's serious. I'll talk to Jay or I talk to just my serious friends. Like I said, everybody got them people. So like I'm just being realistic about the whole world. Like we all have those people, but I'm curious to know like who do y'all call whenever? Huh? That's true. What are you talking about?
I don't have no people.
You don't have an eight?
You don't have nobody that
Everybody should have an eight.
everybody got. I
I
don't
have
believe
no
that.
people that if I call them up and I'm wrong, that they gonna say, "Oh, girl, it's okay, you're wrong." No, they're not gonna tell me that.
It's a good place to be.
That's a great place to be in. I ain't gonna you got some.
Would you tell me that? Like, yeah, girl, it's okay. It's
No,
not
I probably-
like, you're not gonna
I don't know.
You're not gonna enable my wrong.
Not everybody know you're wrong.
I don't think I have.
Somebody that you would call up and you're wrong.
I'm not
and they
enabling
say to
friends,
you,
though. I'm
but
not
your
enabling.
friends that you would
I
call
have
up, your
it.
friends that would enable you.
Yeah, I have some. I know who to like. If I wanna feel like comfort, I know. Oh, I should call so and so. If I want the truth, like I know I should call so and so.
Yeah, because I just truly think like I'm talking.
I don't know if I have friends that would enable. Depending on the nah.
I'm not talking about depending on the situation. I'm talking about period.
Just kill someone and someone
Yeah,
like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about
But I'm thinking we're talking about in this form of just like relationship,
No,
everyday life, not out
no,
killing
no,
somebody.
we talking
like,
about some serious stuff, though. Like I'm talking about like everybody. Well, just my persona of it. I think everybody knows somebody that they will call and they can be in the wrong or they could be on the other side of not right, and they will make them feel like it's okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, that's what I've never met.
Yeah, she don't got it, but I got somebody. I definitely got somebody in mind. I got somebody in mind that will definitely present that energy for me, for sure.
And then also, I think you can look at those people and be like, all right, this might be a person that doesn't accept accountability in their own life. That's why they can easily, enable me.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's just, I put it in the topics because I really be curious to know, like, doing therapy and talking to different people, I noticed that people want to hear the positive about themselves rather than the negative. So they'll call someone that'll tell them the positive thing. Well, you might be wrong, but girl, you did da-da-da-da-da, and you're this. Remind them of what they are, but kind of like dim the light on the problem. You know what I'm saying? And some people, that's what whenever they, oh, hey, and they go to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a big thing because like how we going back to accountability, they're not making you be accountable for your actions.
Yeah.
But sure.
It's not good to enable people. I try not to be that firm.
It's not, but every once in a while, I will play devil's advocate. I will.
Oh yeah.
Devil's advocate and enabling, I think they're different.
Right. I'm like, go ahead.
One more time.
It's Friday.
Enabling.
It's Friday. Let's go.
I've done it before, I think, but that's not who I am for the most part.
Yeah,
I'll probably enable.
yeah. I think I enabled some people. So yeah,
I think it's a case by case thing.
Yeah, case by case.
for sure.
If you're like really coming to me with a problem, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, nah, like it's okay. Like it's not gonna be that. But I feel like you know when it's okay.
Also, I feel like you know your friends that can't really handle,
Yeah, we all know our friends who can't.
Yeah.
So,
So you got,
I love
you. You know.
Nah, sensitive. For sure. Let's go to last topic and last two topics we did. How hard is it to apologize? And I want to go to this because it's a lot of people in life, and it's a lot of people that ruin great relationships within partners or just within business, within anything, because they don't want to apologize. And sometimes apologizing is not apologizing because you did something wrong, but I learned it might be how someone interprets something, and it might be centered by their past traumas or something, but they just feel a certain type of way. But just if you did something or whatever that triggered that or something, which you're not accountable for, but sometimes it's like it's not hard to say I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Because like I think like we get so caught up on these words, like I'm not apologizing because, and we get this type of thing of like why we're not apologizing to someone, not realizing like in reality in some of our lives like we really don't care that much. Like right now we feel this emotion, but once we get up and you got a meeting or you you could have just apologized to him and just got on with your day because you're probably not gonna talk to this person for a good 3-4 days. Or maybe a week or something, but it's just the knowing like how important it is to say that I'm sorry, especially when you mess up. And shout out to my mom on that. Like she really like instilled that in me to always be able to apologize, no matter if you cross the line or the other person crossed the line or whatever. Saying that you're sorry, regardless if they don't take it, at least you said it, so you can let that go without your life. You know what I'm saying? So how y'all feel about that?
I think once people recognize and understand that apologizing is rarely ever for the other person, it becomes a lot easier.
For sure, I love that. Yeah, that's a fact. It's important too.
Like I'm not apologizing so you can do it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like obviously that's the goal. That like I would love for you to feel better based on my apology.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like no, like I messed up, and it goes back to accountability. So I'm holding myself accountable for how I made you feel, and I want you to know that I recognize that what I did, what I said wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Whether or not you accept it, that's on you. But I got it off.
Exactly. And you know where I stand.
You know, like it's not animosity. I wasn't trying to be X, Y, and Z. I wasn't trying to. You feel me? But one thing my therapist told me literally Thursday.
Go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
Right. you have to recognize in a lot of situations, nobody knows your intent. They only know how you make them feel.
That is true.
So if I'm like, I hate the color blue, that might be your favorite color. You might go in the corner and cry, but I didn't mean to make you.
You're right.
But you don't know that.
Exactly.
You don't know what I intended to do by what I said, which makes it a lot easier to be like, okay, I didn't mean to make you feel that way by what I said, and it makes the overall apology process a lot easier once you recognize that nobody knows your intent, nobody sees your intent, nobody feels your intent.
I like that.
What if you apologize on something that you intently did?
I'm sorry?
Like, I intently did this at the time, and now I apologize.
And that's growth. That's self-discovery. That's growth.
I think with apologizing, I've gotten better, like, with age. Like, the younger me,
I had a good.
like,
I can't have my lips several, Karen. What you laughing at me?
you gotta get right.
I gotta get right. I mean,
You said this out to the world.
I mean, hey, I'm on the pod. My lips, yeah. They right. They don't go. Lips be chopped. It's a little cold. It's a little cold in there.
Yeah, with age, I'm just all of that. Just apologizing. You should, back when you like definitely more toxic, the apology is so many angles to an apology.
Yeah.
That you can come off so many different ways that sometimes you'll think like, I just told you sorry, you should just be whatever. It's like nothing about your energy even say that is even genuine at all.
Yeah.
It's like this is like sometimes also in our culture, especially men, like just tell us sorry. It's like
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, but if it doesn't hit, if it doesn't really seem like you're sorry, then you're gonna get something in return, and what are you gonna say to that? Oh, bro, he triggered, like, whatever. It's like, yeah, you about to really self-destruct your relationship. Because you're coming off with somebody who can't take accountability, and the person don't even know if to believe if it was intentful or not because of the way that you're acting once the damage was done.
Yeah, I don't think you can apologize to someone without understanding what you did.
I understand this.
Yeah.
I live my life by that too. Yeah.
So like if I don't know what I did, I can't apologize for it. And I say that to everybody. If you don't tell me that I was wrong, I can't apologize.
Yeah. And I think a thing about apology is like, cause I got like certain situations to where it's not beefs or nothing, but I then apologize and the person that apologized to me, but it's not how I handle the apology. You know what I'm saying? Like some people think whenever you say sorry, oh, like y'all gonna work through it or nothing. It might be I'm sorry, but I'm just close the chapter on that book. You know what I'm saying? Like I think people get it just misconfused of you saying you sorry sometimes. Like if you go back and say like this is a funny story though. After my last relationship, I literally would apologize to every woman I treated bad. Like after I went to therapy, I literally like this. My homeboy's gonna call me for this, but I text every girl if I say, oh hey, my bad. Like I apologize. Like that I treated wrong because I understood.
It's crazy.
It's giving future vibes.
I mean, it is what it is. However you receive it is what it is, but I'm just telling you my truth. This is what I did. This is what I did. And it wasn't like, I wasn't like just going through my contacts like, oh, I'm about to, if I seen you, I was like, hey, whenever I'd ask the question, if they said something, then I apologize. But me, myself, I'm going to be realistic. I'm not going through my phone to every girl I talk to or hurt or anything, because I don't know if I did anything to the point. But if I seen you, the women know who they are and they respected it. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jazz throwing shots. Everybody that I did respected it, so thank y'all. But nah, it was a thing though. Just me, just like wanting to be like, damn, like I feel like I should apologize. Like, and it wasn't nothing or like hard to do, or even when like I was telling didn't tell all my homies, I told someone, they was like, bro, you tripping. Like, I'm like, nah, it really wasn't, because I reached a certain type of level of just comfort within counseling where like, even Jazz saying that don't make me, like, yeah, I did apologize actually, okay. Whatever vibes it give to you, somebody probably haven't told you that they sorry, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking on my truth, you know what I'm saying?
It's like an emotional debt that you pay back.
A little closer.
Yeah,
it's
an emotional obligation. You still feel that there's a void there, and you need to place That's what I see.
I mean,
Which actually seeking closure is a good thing.
like I said, people interpret it, especially men. Some men, like in my situation, like they interpret it bad. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
It's actually one of the most strongest things you could ever do is take accountability, and the people that you may have hurt actually go seek them and tell them about it. I don't think it's something that make you like. That's actually one of the more manly things that you like. To me, that's very manly. So salute on that shit.
Appreciate it. Like I said, it's just
Don't worry about what Jazz say.
Oh, hell no.
You sounding like Future.
Yeah, it's like I almost
Stay
future.
focused.
Wow, I said future. Wow, that's actually a crazy comparison. We're not gonna get into that because future is. Yeah, I don't want to think about that. So I kind of want to go around. And so within all these topics, like a lot of stuff, like I heard, especially like just from everybody, I can pick out something, but I want like everybody to go around and say like something that triggered them or like just made them think, like dang, like when you said that, I thought about this. Like Jazz said future, I lost my mind instantly. Like I'm not a future,
Right.
but I'm saying like, and in all honesty, like when Julian said, you gotta get rid of your 8th grade relationship and move on. I felt that differently because I knew what he was talking about. Like it's a thing in life, and it's just this generation where we you can't let it go. Like I don't know what it is. Like I was a freshman. But yeah, like I want to go around it. Was there anything that you heard or like that you can remember? Like, hey, dang, like that really just like we call this the vulnerability chair. It's the ending. Like I just want.
I think for sure you guys opening up about some of the racial traumas you went through based upon where you grew up in your hometown. Just because I didn't experience like real racism until I moved to LA. Because in the Bay, that's especially the town I grew up in, there was no majority race, like at all. Like my high school was 20% white, 20% black, 20% Mexican, 20% Asian. So it was like, nah, we're all together. My best friend is from Afghanistan, which is like crazy. So what you guys what I didn't experience when it came to racial trauma, I did experience in like more socioeconomics, like, oh, you have money, you don't have money. You're kind of in the middle. We're gonna treat you differently based on that because we're not really like, oh, you're black, you can't be included, or we're gonna make you feel bad for X, Y, and Z. It was okay, you can't afford this, you can't afford that. Now we're gonna make you feel bad about that. So that was really, really interesting because that wasn't something I had to deal with until I was an adult.
Racism.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Jen?
I think kind of what you just said a couple questions ago when you was like about the intent. Nobody knows your intent when you're when you say what did you say?
When you do things or when you say things, no one knows.
No one knows your intent. Like that was like wow. Like it unlocked something in my brain. It just makes me want to move different because in my head you always think, oh, I clearly did this. I clearly showed my efforts in this. Like why can't this person understand? But it's like nobody knows your intent. Like you almost have to say it. Like say your intent and then so yeah, that's my takeaway. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think that hit me more because I told y'all I had problems like expressing myself.
Yeah.
I was somebody who was like forced into like special ed, and that traumatized me in a way because they had me thinking that I wasn't smart. And it's probably happened maybe around the 5th grade. Like people don't understand how aware children are, and like how much you know like what's going on, but you can't like put terms to it. You just know how it feels. And like being like put into like special ed, it showed like to me the way that it was presented was like, oh, this person has a learning disability, which isn't bad. But I actually didn't have one. So it hits different when you know that you're put somewhere that you don't belong. But you don't have, like, for example, like probably around the 5th grade is when my parents probably stopped being as hard from a school standpoint. So they didn't make me do homework. So my grades went down. You know what I'm saying? They might say it, but to actually like apply, you're going to do homework, you're going to make the grades. No, that didn't happen. So eventually I just was like, oh, okay, this is dope. I can just blow through class and not try to be smart because I didn't really have the value. Like I knew being smart was something that you should aspire to be. But if you don't have tools and discipline at like 8 or 9, it's not like you're gonna like self-vent and be like, you need to clean this up with your 10-year-old self and make better grades and do your homework. It's like, yeah, you told me that, but if you don't come and check my homework, you think I'm about to go and wake you up, you gotta work in the morning to do like my homework. So eventually you just find yourself habitually moving through school to where now you're in special ed and you're like doing this work and they're like sounding shit out like you really got some type of like lack thereof. It's like, yo, I know all of this. I should be doing it. And I'm 9 and I'm not going to like change the way I am because nobody has made me do it. I'll just stay here. So I just found myself like just being confused. And then like when I got to college and started like actually making the grades, it like unlocked who I was, but it still stuck with me. Like, oh, they thought I had like a learning disability or XYZ. And it like, so when people would call me stupid and stuff like that, I would be very sensitive to that. Based off of like me just slouching a little bit and they like, oh, he slouched, just throw him in there, he's slow. Or something like that. And I like took that with me through like college and like adulthood to where like I'll like research stuff or like become very informative about any subject just to not live that childhood experience of somebody possibly perceiving me as somebody who can't process information properly. So that's like a trauma.
I think, like what I'm getting the most from this is that everyone like experiences trauma to some degree. And I think that even all the topics that we have in becoming the best version of yourself and learning how to maneuver through those things in the ways that you feel like is like conducive for you, it takes you to be able to recognize the trauma, to start talking about the trauma, to start seeking out outside help so you can deal with the trauma so they don't keep showing up and manifesting themselves in other ways in your life so that you can cut those cords and go out and be like abundantly yourself. I think that to me feels like the most like thing that I can take away from this. And maybe like be a little bit more compassionate to other people because everybody going through something or it's come through something. So, yeah.
I see this thing on, I think it was on TikTok, and it was like the pastor, it was a church thing, it was like the pastor made everybody write down their problem. And he told them put it in a pile, and everybody walked up and put their things in a pile, and then he made them come back up in a line, and he switched it up, and he made them grab a problem. But I think they still had their problem on them or something. They were like, would you take that problem and put it back? And everyone was like, dang, I'd rather take mine. And you know what I'm saying? And it was so powerful. Like whenever I seen the video, and I was like, oh, this is crazy, because in life, sometimes when we at our lowest, we think we're going through, or when we're not getting what we want, or we feel so down that to where it's like, dang, like I'm going through all these problems, but you know, some people would kill to have your problem. Like, oh, I'll take whatever you're going through right now because my situation is worse. It's hard to see when you're in it, but that video really struck light with me. I was like, yeah, dang, like this is amazing. This is dope. I think that's it. I think obviously want to thank y'all, especially Julian. This is the guy behind the camera, my guy. We talk all the time. I told him I had to get him on the pod. So yeah, Jazz, her episode will be out by the time this one goes. So very great. Don't take it personally. That's how we are. So yeah, great model, actress, all that. Yeah, we do this day.
Because I'm going to shoot the shot. That's what I do.
Yeah, she'll do her thing. Say her piece. So obviously, J Ball, man, bad respect to him and just everything he do for me. It's like family. Even though my family, y'all gonna see this and be like, wow, y'all really, touching moment type stuff. Y'all sitting by each other. They gonna make the smallest thing. Yeah, they gonna blow it up though. Like, then they sat together, they sat by each other doing this podcast. Like, like our relationship. Shout out to Kay, who my family think I don't talk to as well. Like, yeah, I have conversations with Keisha. So whenever y'all see this, it's not nothing new. She's on the camera. We also gonna have her episode coming just by herself as well. So yeah, man, good to be back. subscribe, follow, do all that. I'll have their Instagram tags and Twitter and all that. So TikTok, well, whatever you need it, you know what I'm saying. But peace, be different.
Peace.